up, everybody? It's Big Snipe Mike here at the Akalades Market Flow Family Discord. I got the Stock Odin, the man, the myth, the legend on with me tonight. He's actually going to be taking over with me. We're going to be partnering up with this and continuing on here. We'll be on a better schedule come next week. I know it's been a rough couple weeks for me, so I haven't been able to hop on here and have some fun with y'all. But we're back. We're back in action. We had a juicy week last week. Mr. Stock Odin, what's up, brother? How you doing?
What's going on, man? We had a good week last week.
Man, crazy week last week. I'm gonna pull up. Yeah, I got my screen shared here. I'm gonna pull up a couple plays. We'll do a little quick recap of last week, and then we're gonna, because today was just insane volatility. We're gonna go over the S&P 500, what happened. Why we're bouncing so hard here, and we got the options god himself on, so we can go over, what to do, what to look for going forward. So last week, the Odin, he's teamed up with us now. He's Akalades family now, and he gave us some straight bangers. So we're going to go right into NUE first. I want to look at, Mr. Odin, tell me what brought your attention to NUE.
Okay, so actually V from where my Discord or now in your Discord brought it up to me, to be honest, and I saw it. I pulled it up in the Discord for the FinViz chart for the daily, and that I was like, wow. So I went back and actually looked at the stock, and I mean, since March 20th, 20. Right when the COVID situation, I believe. Wait.
Yeah, it's just been on a tear.
Yeah, it's literally just been ripping, and I mean it's up 500% for the year.
Jesus Christ!
And yeah, so I was like, well, I'm going to watch this chart. Reminded me of another chart I like to play, which is CF, and I was just like, man, this thing needs to pull back, and started the chart, and there was ER, and I noticed it and pre-market jumped up, and then it ran up like 10.8%.
That was on April 21st, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, because it had this big gap up here, and then it ended up it tried to break this top trend, and it just ended up selling off.
And it gapped up, and then it went for like almost 11% for the day. So before that day, it was like 508%. And then with that extra 11% on the day, it put the stock up since the COVID incident up to 584%.
Jesus Christ.
So that's insane. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get in.
People start taking profits too. Like, you got to think about that too. Like, these people have been holding through earnings reports. You got those people that'll start taking profits.
Especially when stock runs up 10%.
Yeah, you get a 10% day, you're selling.
It's not a penny. Yeah, it's not a penny stock. So yeah. I mean, it's extended. I mean, just look at it.
I mean, it still is. It looks like it's got room to the downside. It just broke through. It did kind of bounce a little bit here, but that's, I think, more so because the index has bounced. I think more downsides to come on this stock. It just cracked its trend line. I drew a little trend line on here, but yeah, what did these contracts go for? I know you alerted them in the Discord. You put them on your newsletter, or did you not put it on your newsletter?
No, they weren't on my newsletter because it wasn't at my attention. I like grabbing tops of things. I know, obviously, some people are like, don't short the tops or don't, puts are a little different.
Top tick, don't top tick. I see it all over Twitter because I follow a lot of short bias traders because I'm a short bias trader. Stop trying to top tick, but I'm a top ticker too myself.
So, I see the top of the chart, I mean, you just zoom out and look at, I mean, on a 30-minute chart, that's nothing but just a boom on a stock that's done nothing but run. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to jump in, I'll cut losses if I'm wrong. And I wasn't wrong. I jumped in some options that were actually not really that liquid. Not a whole lot of people in puts.
I mean, the stock's been on just this sick uptrend. I can see why the liquidity would be pretty low on the puts there, but man.
So I got them at 120 You know, but the next day, if you hold into the day where it really dropped, there was a lot more open interest definitely by the next day, towards close of, because I mean it just dropped. It tried to hold itself that one day, but no.
It looked like it kind of failed to break out of the top trend line, and then it sold off. Next day, it cracked that 30-minute 50 MA here, and it just kind of was free fall, waterfall land there, just kind of pulled back. Yeah, that's a sick trade though. I know a couple people banked on it. I got some DMs. So that was one of the most solid trades of the week for sure. That's why I wanted to pull this one up. Now, I mean, honestly, if it breaks this bottom trend line here, I'd watch it again. For puts, because this got a lot of downside to it. I know it's had a huge recovery, it's got a huge rally, but if the market conditions continue the way they are, this thing will have no problem seeing, at least I would say 111. It could come down to maybe not 111, but 126. You could see. I mean, it's got some downside to it, that's for sure. Up 580%. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, it didn't even really pull back the last correction that we had. The last little dip, it barely even, it nudged $10, $10, $20, not even, and then it just came up and ripped.
Yeah.
Man.
Same way with CF. I didn't call CF out, and I actually didn't take
Jesus
the trade
CF
for CF, but I called that out too. Well, I didn't call it out as a trade alert, but the other day I stated that I wanted to see the 99 to 96 area.
Oh, yeah. I remember reading that. You were looking, you said it in a couple different chats, right?
Yeah, I put it in a different Discord. Not as just showing someone something. I was too busy with new and SPY. So, I mean, I didn't want to take too many trades at the time. So, yeah, I stuck new and SPY.
But you were spot on this one, too. I mean, it double topped here, it looks like. Kind of false break. It false break that top at 111-ish, 110.25 to 111-ish, and then just kind of gave up, is what it's looking like on the daily. On CF, which is Industrials Holdings, or
fertilizer
Holdings, yeah,
stuff like that. So yeah.
So we'll so CF new. You had a couple of day trades on some small caps. I know you hit Viru too for a nice gain. We hit quite a few trades. We've been banging it. While this market's tanking or whatever, everything's so volatile. We still find our ways to eat, no matter what over there. And that brings me another thing before we get into anything else here. I kind of breezed over it. Anything we go over here is not financial advice. We're just going over ideas and recaps of trades we've taken together. And don't take it as financial advice. We're not financial advisors. As well as, if you're not in the Discord, hit the link below. The link will be right below. It's Akalades Trading. It's a free Discord. Join us. We have a lot of fun together. We're super loose. We have a good time, and we make a lot of money during these during these volatile markets. That's when we hammer the hardest. As well as, if you want to get Mr. Stock Odin here's newsletter, hit this link as well. I'll have that under the video also. You can hit that link. You'll get the trades before they're alerted. A lot of the trades before they're alerted. So hit that link right there, the newsletter for Odin Place Trading, and I guarantee you won't be disappointed, as well as like and subscribe always. So we'll get into a couple of the trades that I took last week. So I took, let me pull up our recap here, just because I had a couple White Claws tonight, so I gotta kind of guide myself down the line here. So we've got last week was pretty fire. We had CRTX was on, or CRXT was on fire. I know Wonder, shout out Wonder, he alerted that thing long. We took that thing long. We had ATER, right? ATER was in play for a while last week. So we'll go over ATER. So I was playing ATER a lot differently than most of the apes. I was buying dips, selling rips, and it worked out for a while, and then it didn't, and then I was shorting it. So we had, I'll pull up the 15-minute on ATER. This way we can see a little bit here. We'll get over here. So I actually recently just, I actually taught a lot of people this pattern that we've been shorting into, and it's been paying off real well, especially on ATER. You know, like I said, if you want to learn the pattern, you got to hit the link, the Discord link, and join us, and I'll teach you it. I'll actually teach you how to short this pattern, but I'll just show you it here real quick. So it gave it to us 3 times, right? So we have this pattern, this rip up. Yeah, and by the way, I'm not just shorting it. I'm longing it down here on these dips. ATER was super volatile last week and the week prior. So I'm longing these dips, selling the rips, and then it forms this top. And then you got this consolidation on this little bit of an uptrend every single time. If you look, you've got this nice dump right afterwards. You got this nice dump right after. Same pattern every single time. So we literally made love to ATER last week. The whole team ate on ATER. I know a couple of people that were perma bulls on it that ended up getting smoked. And, you know, that happens. You got to learn your lessons. You know, I've learned that lesson time and time again. But we hammered this thing long and short so many different times. But, yeah, just wanted to pull up ATER. I know it's been pumping. Everyone wants it to squeeze. And I want to see it squeeze too. And it looks like on this 15-minute here, it might be back in action. I'm going to be eyeing it tomorrow. That's for sure. I missed it today. I was too busy, you know, playing Spy. But I'll be eyeing ATER tomorrow. Another one was Viru last week. Viru was last week, right?
I think it was.
Or it started the week before, but it carried over.
It started the week before.
Viru's just been a complete monster. It hasn't given that like big drop yet. You know, these small caps. You know, I always say it in the Discord, they're all complete scams. But Viru in particular hasn't given that sell off. So I would keep it on watch as well. You had this big run up. This was a Friday. I think it was 2 Fridays ago that had this big run up. And then we had this big sell off the next day that we all shorted. We made, you know, everybody in the Discord banked on this short. We shorted this whole thing down. But ever since then, everyone's trying to short it and they're getting stuck in here. I've luckily stayed away from this, but I know I took it long off of your alert. Now, I believe that was, I want to say it was like Tuesday or maybe it was Monday. I was like right in here at the 12 buck range, right? I'm gonna have this big breakout.
It should have been the 13th.
13th. Yep, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, so, it was the break of like 12, or gotta go to a smaller time frame.
What do you want me to look at? 5 minute?
5 minute probably work. Yeah, it was should have been the break of like 2:15, 2:18, I think is when I can see when I alerted it.
I think it was this break right here around 12:09 was the price because it broke. It false braked a couple times. I remember because I took this long with you and I kept adding these dips and then it ended up just ripping right into the after hours.
Yeah, I think I called it at 12:16. That's when I sent out the alert.
Yeah, so that was over that high here. Right over the high, and then ended up breaking that level finally clean. And we took that thing right on up. I remember I even tried to short in here after I sold my long at 14. I ended up getting stopped out. It ended up running up to like 16. And then the next day it gave some sick opportunities. So I know we're going 2 weeks back. We're just trying to, we're highlighting all these big plays because we haven't been on in a while. But we ended up taking this false break here into the open on the following day. And we got like a 3-day short on a 3-point short on it, right back down to support. But Viru has just been on. Even though it had a couple days of consolidation, like the fact that it's not back at $2 blows my mind, because if you look up where the company's located, you look up their main office, like it's not impressive, that's for sure. But yeah, just put in a nice big day today. Ran up from low 10s, mid 10s up to the 14 level. So Viru, I would definitely keep on watch. Long bias and short bias, I would keep it on watch to test these highs in the 17 level.
Another either way.
What happened, brother?
I said play way.
Play it either
Both
way. We're buy over here. We play them both ways. So that was on 413. We played Vero. We'll zoom in a little bit. So we have CRXT was a big one that was in play. GNS was in play that we played a little bit of. STSS, that was a good one, right? We longed STSS right into the open. That's a highlight from last week. That was, I think, Friday or Thursday. I think that was Thursday. STSS, it gapped up pre-market. That was on the 19th of April. And it gapped up pre-market. It consolidated. It kept bouncing off of this support level here. And this is a fresh IPO. A lot of these fresh low float IPOs, what they do is they pop IPO day, sell off, and then they have a huge gap up day like STSS had. And it kept bouncing off this level, so we loaded it at pre-market. I know there was quite a few short discords that were hammering it short, and they ended up getting smoked. And we rode this thing up for a solid 53%. That was for shares there on STSS. And then we backsided that motherfucker because that's what we do, and we hit it for 30% on the backside. So overall, you got 50, 60, 70, 80% potential gains on STSS there on the that was on the 19th. Let's see, what else did we have? We had quite a bit of action. Last week was, I mean, it was slow, but it wasn't slow at the same time. Like, there was just random poppers that just took everybody's attention. WBEV was another big one. CYN was another big one as well that ran, and I do believe that it still got some upside. CYN right now has a nice, it got bought up right into the after hours on today, which is going to be the 25th of April. So I'm watching this one into tomorrow as well. It's holding this nice trend on the 15-minute I was looking at earlier. Nice little uptrend here. Just bounced off the bottom trend line and held it. So this is another one. These are just small caps I'm going over real quick with y'all. So I'd just keep an eye on them. CYN, I think it's going to pop up, make a new high. It just filled the gap this morning up here on the daily, which I had put in my watch list for the week, is that it was going to fill this gap. It filled the gap. You know, this could be a great short if it breaks that trend line. It'll probably fly back down to where it started. But if it does start to break out, this has been having a lot of buying pressure on it, a lot of action on it. So definitely worth watching. And then we had VLON, right? VLON, VLON was another one. I played it today as well as on Friday. So we'll zoom in here, and then we'll get back into some market action here. I just wanted to go over a couple of these. So VLON looks good for tomorrow as well. Nice little wedge on the 15-minute here. We'll see what happens. It's holding up this support, which I mentioned in the Discord. You know, if you're in there, you know I told y'all, you know, if you're shorting this, you need this fold here at 1.84. So keep an eye on that level, see if it bounces here. It's holding it right now. And then we had SPFM was one more I wanted to look at. SPFM, which I'm currently swinging overnight on a long position. SPFM had some action today, had some action the other day, a couple days ago when it had that news. I believe the news was pretty fluffy, but still it has a lot of volume on it. So it's definitely worth keeping on the watch list. And then we'll hop back into SPY Odin. Now tell me what you think, what's going on with SPY. I know SPY, we had this huge dump today. We had this huge dump the past 3 days, and then it just, you know, completely recovered. Tried to put in this reversal here. You know, it hasn't fully reversed yet, in my opinion, but it's starting to. What do you think is going to happen in the next couple of days? What are you looking at?
I thought that I was looking for that 120, 121 area for, you know, possible.
You're talking about 420?
Yeah. Well, obviously, it's past. It wicked down to 419.
Yeah, I believe it hit 418.88 or something like that. 418, something like that. Yeah.
And you know, so I had.
Oh, 419.05 was the low.
Okay. So I was more around the 420 range. I mean, that's what I was just guessing to see if there was a chance, for some sort of really bounce. And clearly, I mean, today it held it quite well. I know you played SPY today, and I did too. I took calls, so um, I didn't sell directly at the top. I took profit. I was wanting the 429 today.
Just
Like I
shy of
told
it.
you, yep, like I told you in the Discord. But I mean, we're 49 cents shy, but that's where I figured we were going to go. You really zoom out on the daily, man. I really think that there's a chance, depending on how the sentiment is tomorrow, especially
Earnings,
on big tech,
obviously.
Microsoft, Google. That's going to set the pace for Amazon, Apple, everyone else through the week. So there is a possibility for basically like I showed you on my chart. We could do a head and shoulders and continue upwards into like this. Basically, I think it would be like a bearish pennant.
Yeah, so what I'm seeing here is we're starting to form. It tried to form it already and it failed. This inverse head and shoulders here. And then now it's looking like, because it bounced this level, same level. We were talking about it before we started filming on the 24th of January. It bounced super hard off of the same level, which is this 419, 418, 419 level. It bounced super hard today. We saw the lows in the morning. And yeah, we were on Voice live trading, and we scalped SPY. You could hop in, like I said, the Discord, you could see the profit shots. We were literally scalping SPY on the way down the whole way. And we were scalping the calls on every bounce. And then we totally missed this move up. I'll tell you that much. I mean, I'm not going to front. I missed this move up. I actually ended up getting pretty smoked on the puts on this move up. But it's all right. I had enough profits from the puts on the way down that it didn't really. I was pretty much lottoing, trying to scalp the top, which wasn't happening. But yeah, I agree. I think I see this inverse here, head and shoulders that's formed. And I think we're going to come up, maybe test this level here in the 447s to 449s, and then probably reject. And then we'll, obviously macroeconomics has a lot to do with the SPY. We get a lot of news and it can send it any direction. So technical analysis, it only can go so far. It can go a long way intraday, but when you wake up to, any kind of news break, it could send this thing spiraling, or it could send it on a rampage to all-time highs. So it's definitely one, while the volatility is high, the VIX is ripping. You should definitely take advantage of these. I mean, the scalps today were just crazy. I was hitting 30% on one candle every other play. We were just in and out. So it's definitely super volatile, and it can bring you nice scalp gains if you are willing to be in and out. Obviously holding for the home run, unless you snipe the bottom or snipe the top, it's harder to do in this volatility because it just knifes. We were seeing $2-3 knifes, then we were seeing $2-3 pops. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
we did sell the top the other day on SPY. I put it in my newsletter. I can't remember the exact number of. I got it in the I believe when I went back to look at the contracts versus when I had called them out, it was literally like 449 something. So I
was up here. That was a
I
couple
took
days ago.
SPY up top. But what I was going to say is when the VIX is ripping, though, you do have to remember that contracts, both calls and puts, are going to have more premium to them. So keep that in mind. You do not want to hold them too long when that VIX spikes. Just contracts and premiums, the cost of them go up.
Yeah, and that's both ways too. And that's both ways, right? Not just which direction it's going.
It should be both because it's volatile. I mean, we could drop $5 and then shoot right back up and gain $7. So,
like we did today.
Yep. And everyone needs to remember that this earning week is probably the most crucial week that there will be in certain ways for earnings, because this is I don't have the exact number. It's in my newsletter. 21 point some percent of SPY's holding this week, just in their earning between Google, Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. 21 some percent.
Yeah, you got quite a bit just tomorrow in itself. You've got Microsoft after the bell. You've got Alphabet, which is Google after the bell, Visa, GM, Chipotle. You've got Texas Instruments, Skechers. You've got Range, Resource. And then before the bell as well, you got 3M, which I'm pretty sure is in the SPY holdings as well. And you got quite a bit this week. It's going to be a crazy week, that's for sure.
It's going to be a great week to play earnings if you like to play lottos or in general.
Or play them after. So what I've been noticing, so I used to love to lose my money lottoing into earnings. And you know me, I'm a short bias trader. So I'm 9 times out of 10, I'm looking short on these earnings reports, and I always get smoked on these large caps. So what I've been noticing, though, is that they give great opportunity the day after, where you don't even need a lotto into them. So one that I was looking at that I missed was Netflix, right? Netflix gave some great opportunity into the day after. It had this huge drop here. This was in earnings. And then it consolidated into after hours and then the morning of. And then right into the open here, if you look at, let's see, 15-minute maybe might be the best here. Right into the open here, this was like a 600% put play here if you took puts right into the open. Or you could even play like the bounces. You play these bounces. These bounces are pretty hard. Even today alone, I know Netflix was, or not today, it was 2 days ago. Netflix gave like a 3% pop into the open and then sold off red, which is right here. So you can play these things because they get so much volume from their earnings report, day after, 2 days after, and not risk your lotto money or whatever you want to call it into the earnings.
Yep, I agree.
And then I know you're UPS, right? You're in some lottos on UPS right now.
Fingers crossed. Yep. I mean, it's a lotto, so I'm
okay with losing the whole thing.
Yeah, that's part of it. Say I take 10 lotto plays. Okay, say I put $1,000 into each one or whatever I put into it. And say I'm confident in them. Say I guess even just 6 of them right, most likely I'm not going to lose all of my premium, but on the ones that I'm right about, I might gain, 3, 4, 5, 600%, which, and I say I might, I'm not saying that I would.
Yeah.
So, even if I lost, 4 of them, and lost some money on puts or calls, the other ones would, if I hit 5, 6, 700% on certain ones, I would still overall have a better profit versus,
what you lost. Yeah,
I'm not suggesting that to anyone. I was just giving an example. I'm not suggesting that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like we said in the beginning, this is not financial advice, but yeah, no, it makes sense. If you take 10 lottos, you could hit 2 of them and be over the amount that you invested in all 10 of them.
Yep. Even 5, if you're right on 3 out of the 5, 2 of them, say they go completely to zero and they expire worthless, most likely your other 3 will have made up plenty if they actually did what they were supposed to do. So
now I played a pretty deadly earnings on a Tesla the other day.
Tesla.
Yeah, so I bought 1080 calls and I sold 900 puts. And it was definitely not the smartest thing to do, but it paid off really well. But yeah, so
not
what I was
advice.
Yeah, definitely not financial advice. Definitely don't follow my earnings fucking lottos because I risk quite a bit when I do it. But Tesla's one that I've always bet against, right? Every earnings report I'm betting. I've been betting against Tesla for this entire run, and that's because I'm a bear and it's up. It's over $1,000, or it might not be right now, but but it usually is holding over $1,000, been over $1,000 for a while, or it's had a couple dips, whatever you want to call it. And I don't think it's worth $1,000, and it's probably not. I'm probably right there. So I always bet against their earnings, but Elon Musk is just like, he moves markets, and not only did they crush earnings, but he hopped on the guidance phone call, which you don't even see companies like Microsoft and Apple have their CEOs really hopping on guidance calls anymore. And he hopped guidance, he sent this shit to the moon. But look what happened. This is what I'm thinking. A lot of people expect these earnings to either save the market or kill the market. If you look at the past couple, quarters of earnings reports, you'll see a lot of them pump on the beats, but then they sell right off. Like, look at Tesla. It's literally came back to, lower than where it started after its huge beat on its earnings report, plus Elon Musk and his forward-looking statements. I mean, luckily I got right out at the open. I made a huge penny on it, and I got lucky. That I didn't get smoked, because I could have gotten smoked. I could have lost, 100% on the contracts I bought on calls, and then I could have had to buy the shares to cover the puts that I sold without having shares to sell puts. So it definitely wasn't an ideal. I didn't alert it to the Discord because, for one, you need to have a lot of capital behind to take a play like that, and two, it was probably the highest risk play you could play. Wouldn't you say, Odin? Options probably the highest risk you could do.
Yep. Because it can move against you either. In that instance, you were bullish on that earnings, but obviously, if it would have dropped, like a Netflix style, not only do you lose out a premium, but you as well would either have to roll out or cover the shares. So
if it did a Netflix type drop, it would have been too big of a drop for me to even really roll it, I don't think.
Yeah, that would have definitely not been something. But that's why you're not alerting.
Yeah, I didn't alert it to anyone. I didn't want anyone to take that kind of risk with me. I told a couple people what I was doing, but I spent like $1,500, or not 1,500, $15,000 to put a play on like that, and it ended up paying off pretty well. And Elon Musk's a god to the market, so I wasn't too worried about it, but I definitely was shaking in my boots watching Tesla report.
And then if you've got a decent account size like Mike, or say you're a big options player, there's other strategies you can run that yes, your typical put and call are going to be your highest paying, but if you've got a big amount of cash that you can put up, there's a lot of safe options out there. Strangles, straddles, poor man's covered, obviously covered calls or verticals. There's plenty of things out there, so you don't always have to play things risky. They just don't bring the same return.
Yeah, you're not going to get a 5,000% return. You're going to
gain, a maximum of maybe 20% return versus 1,000, or depending on the strategy, it caps out at a certain number. So the most you could get, say, $10,000, and anything else. So,
but the risk's a lot low, right? So when you do like a straddle,
lot of institutions, and things like that can play those with big amounts of money with basically very little risk, if any, depending on their strategy. But just takes a lot of capital.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, like straddles just in general, because especially on plays like Facebook and Netflix, they have a tendency of dropping really hard when they miss, or popping pretty hard when they beat. That if you do a straddle, like let's say you buy on Facebook, right? Facebook's 186. So let's say you bought 190 calls. You're bullish on their earnings, so you bought 190 calls, and you bought 190. Or no, I guess that would be bearish if you bought it in the money, right? The puts in the money.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at my phone. What'd you say?
So when you do a straddle, right? If you buy whichever contract you buy in the money, that's which direction you're betting on.
No, a straddle would be like neutral, because you're buying a put and a call, and so either direction that it goes, you're going to want to use a graph to figure it out, because your spread, the distance between your put and call, matter. But depending if you're buying or selling it, so if you're buying it, it just needs to go one direction or the other.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. So like moves like I wasn't. I mean, obviously I was wrong about the
So
which
if you
one's
bought
in
a
the money.
straddle there up at
Straddle
the
though,
top,
isn't it the same? You're doing the same contract, just different directions.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be the same strike price. Well,
Oh, it
obviously,
doesn't.
it's not the same strike price because that's what's giving you your premium is the distance of spread between your put and your call is what determines your risk and everything else as well. So say the dead zone would be, say you're playing a stock that's 155, and earnings come up, and you pick your strike prices. Well, you need it. Say you pick it to where you need it to move $10 to basically make money in one direction. Um, you know, I might be able to actually pull up my so here,
We're gonna
hold on.
switch screens.
I gotta there. Now, yeah. So this right here is a straddle or a strangle, and this over here is a straddle. But you can flip it depending on, like, this would be selling. Like a short straddle would be you selling a 30 put and a 30 call, and you
Oh, so when you
basically,
sell them, it's short. When you're buying them, you're kind of neutral.
so yeah, so this person thinks it'll stay in this area. So to sell it, this person can make profit only if it stays in this area right here.
Okay,
If you reverse this, it would be like this
I
to
gotcha.
buy it. So you buy a 29 put and a 31 call, and you can adjust that.
Yeah,
Like if
obviously, the strikes you can do it at your leisure
yeah,
on which
so
one.
all you need it to do, if something's at 29, you would just need it to go one way or another to make the money.
Huh. Okay, so
And
yeah,
then
so that was what I was getting at is with these earnings reports that make big volatile moves like Facebook has, Netflix has. You could do a straddle, and if you risk off, let's say you bought a contract for it was 190 bucks or $200, let's say $200, 200 on each, and it's let's say it dumps down, right? It makes it dumps down 20%. Those puts are going to be up thousands of percents. Your calls will be down 100%. You'll make back 10 times what you lost. So it's a lot safer of a strategy on these more volatile, these big movers that when they miss on earnings like, Facebook has or Netflix has, they make these big moves. But with that being said, Mr. Odin, you got anything else you want to go over before we close out here? I know we kind of burned out a lot of time. We're nerding it out on some of these large caps here.
yeah, I think that we'll probably end up doing a different episode for questions and answers for options. I know there's a lot of people out there that you know they're
Yeah, want to learn.
overcomplicating it, in my
Yep.
opinion. And sometimes if you can just try to explain it in a simple form, someone might understand it. I think too many people are caught up in Greeks and certain things, and yes, they all matter. But in my opinion, if you really view it like just trading a stock, it kind of is. I mean, minus the fact that you have you're fighting against time and other things. But I day trade most of my options for the fact that you can't sell them pre-market, aftermarket. So I just like to make my money out of the money options, and usually that's where it's at. But yeah, we'll do that on a
Yeah,
different episode.
we'll figure out a time. We'll put a little survey out. Maybe hit the Discord up. See what everybody, the majority has some time. We'll go live, and we'll bring a couple people on. We'll go over some option stuff, and not just focusing on the Greek, some different strategies like that you use, and everybody, because we got quite a few options traders on there, and we'll make that happen. Either this week or the next week. But other than that, man, I got to go eat something here. We've got the Discord link below. We got Odin's newsletter here as well. Don't miss out on the newsletter. Follow us on Twitter. Hook us up here. Help us grow. You guys helping us grow is what makes this happen. Makes us give up this time to hop on for an hour, and talk stocks with y'all. Like and subscribe. Odin, it was a pleasure bringing you on. I look forward to having more episodes. It's going to be me and Odin now on. We're going to start running more episodes together. We'll start doing a weekly release, and we'll get that all figured out. But with that being said, bro, once again, I look forward to this week with you. You've been crushing it. I've been loving following you and learning from you. And I hope you have a great night, brother.
Yeah, you too. One last thing for the people out there: think of your ideas so you can get us a list of things you want us to go over. So
yeah, get a list together. DM me or Odin. If you're not in the Discord, once again, join it because it's free. And DM us if you want us to talk about stuff, whatever tickers you want us to look at, anything. You just hit us up. We got your backs in there. And we love what we do. That's why we do it for free and we give it away for free so we can help you guys make some money. So definitely, DM us, let us know what you want us to talk about, and we'll start, categorizing, going through, and see what you guys want to learn about.
All
It's
right.
a good point. I didn't even think of that. Fuck the people. I was like, we'll just.
I know. I've got some DMs from people, wanting that video style stuff. So if people get some questions around, it'll make it easier to make a video that's got the right content.
For what they're looking for. Yeah, I know. I still got to make my scalping video for everybody. But with that, it's been a pleasure, y'all. Let's get to it tomorrow. We got some earnings reports coming out tomorrow. SPY's going to be volatile again. There's some small caps I'm watching. I mentioned them already. Put them on the list, check them out, see what's going on. And, anything that I ever mention I'm watching is going to be long and short. It's never bias on which way. So always be, eyeing the price action, seeing what's going on. And once again, this is not financial advice. We're just two idiots talking about stocks together, and that's it. All right, later, y'all.